Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight is Tuesday, June 7th. It's about 7:30 p.m. We are having this meeting virtually, and we are in myself, Jeremy Ginsburg, and Fred Donite are here in Town Hall, room 206, and the meeting's also being held virtually on the GoToMeeting platform. Tonight we have a public hearing and a general meeting item. We have, these are all new public hearings, right?
New public hearings. The only one's continuation is 1897.
Okay, I thought so. So you have four new applications to go over, or five new applications to go over, and one that we already exist, and then some general meeting items. So we can get through some resolutions and get everything taken care of. All right. So with that said, the first item on the agenda is continuation of public hearing regarding special permit application number 312A, as in Apple, Altitude Darien LLC at 1897 Boston Post Road. This is a proposal to establish a new quick service restaurant selling coffee, beverages, and baked goods in a 2,125 plus or minus square foot portion of the first floor space. The 0.49 plus or minus acres subject property is located on the north side of Boston Post Road at the northwest corner formed by its intersection with Dickinson Road and is shown on Assessor's map number 42 as Lot 6 in the neighborhood business zone. The hearing was originally opened on May 3rd, 2022. This is the new building that was built by they call themselves the V20 group now, the Vaccaro family. It's got ground floor retail space with 2 potential tenant units and then 5 apartments on the upper floors, one of those which being affordable. Fred Donite's going to tell us what we're doing on this tonight so we can hopefully close out the hearing.
Yeah. As Steve mentioned, the commission opened the matter and heard the application in May. The commission decided to keep this open to allow for the applicant submitted information regarding traffic and parking, and the commission's peer review traffic engineer Mike Galante and Greg Del Rio of Hardesty in Hanover submitted comments since the commission originally heard the application. So Greg Del Rio is here tonight representing Hardesty in Hanover to review his traffic comments. And Greg, why don't you take it away here?
Where's Greg Del Rio?
Okay, I'm here. Can you all see me? Can you hear me?
Yep, perfect.
Okay, great. And I will do a quick screen share in a minute. So we reviewed the history of the project and the submissions. There was a parking assessment letter from Malone McBroom in May 27th, 2020. There was a follow-up letter from SLR May 20th of 2022. And then there was some shared documents on the floor plan as well. So it's the program for the development is 7 residential units, 5 residential units with 7 bedrooms, and then retail. So the last go around, there was the retail component, and I think now I can share my screen to make this a little easier to understand. Hopefully I shared the right screen. Can you see it with the floor plan on it?
Yes.
Okay,
yep, we're good.
Great. So this is the floor plan of the first floor, which has the retail of some 3,600 square feet. But since then, 2 tenants have come forward. One is a kitchen showroom, which is straightforward retail classification. The remaining part is what's being referred to as Moots. It's being called MOOTS, and it's a coffee bar / convenience retail. So there was a question whether or not the land use classification should be retail or whether it should be quick service restaurant to reflect the coffee bar area that you see here. And then roughly 490 square feet of convenience areas here in blue, and there's another small area of 100 square feet here in blue as well, that's designated as convenience area. So those would be the stands selling different types of convenience items. So what we were asked to do basically is compare the past history, and I did a quick, here we go. We did 3 scenarios. So scenario 1, which was approved last time, was 7 bedrooms and then the 3,600 square feet as pure retail, which resulted in 25 spaces. They're providing 24, and that was accepted. Now we come in with a slight change in land use, or arguably a slight change in land use because of the coffee counter and coffee bar. So what we did was sort of 2 scenarios to follow up and see what that would reflect in terms of differences in parking demand. So the residential component always stays 7, and this is as per zoning. The retail component, the 1,500, is the kitchen showroom, and at 1 space per 200 square feet, that would be 8 spaces. And then if you categorize the remaining moots part of the development as quick service restaurant, this is now scenario 2 I'm talking about, the total demand would be 30. Quick service restaurant has a slightly higher demand ratio of 1 space per 150 square feet as opposed to 1 space per 200 square feet for pure retail. And that would be 30. And then we did one more, which kind of, as I mentioned before, the breakdown within moots of the convenience retail versus the coffee bar. So we took the 490 square feet of retail, put it back on top of the 1,500 for the showroom. That resulted in 10, and a quick service restaurant of 11. So that would be 28. So depending on how you look at the land use of moots in particular, it could be as low as 25, it could be as high as 30, and with the 24 spaces that they have in their parking lot, you would either be 1, 4, or 6 spaces short. Now the other issue is, that comes up is shared parking, and if any of it can be shared. The retail and quick service is already sharing. The question is, does any of the residential become available during the day to help meet the demands that peak during the day? And obviously the retail and quick service restaurant, or however you wanted to classify that, would not have, it's not a 24/7 proposal, so there would be no demand overnight, and it would just be the residential. And so that's the findings of our review.
Thank you, sir. No, I appreciate that, Jack. Greg, how many parking spaces do you count on site today?
Was that a question for me? 24?
Yes.
24.
So there's 24 today. On the scenario 1, they're supposed to have 25. That's a wash.
There's 24 today?
Yeah, and
Right.
that was approved. That was approved in the last hearing when it was just
right now. And so then just give me one thing really quick. Between scenarios 2 and 3, the lamp store, the kitchen and bath store, the number of parking spaces switches from 8 to 10, but the use isn't changing. So why did you do that again? I must have missed that.
If you read, if you can see the screen and read scenario 3, we have the 1,500 of the showroom, but then we took 490 square feet of the convenience area in the coffee bar and classified that as retail. So
Okay,
that's why it bumps up to, if you 1,500 plus 490 square feet becomes 1,990, and that's the 2 extra spaces for retail. And then the quick service drops accordingly. We take 2125, we subtract the 490, that drops to 1635, and therefore the corresponding demand goes down from 15 to 11, and we have a slightly lower total demand.
Okay. How many parking spaces are required for the kitchen and bath showroom?
That would be the 8 right here, 1,500 square feet for kitchen and bath and 8 spaces.
It's a lot of people, right? Yeah,
Um,
I missed the last meeting. I mean, I gotta believe there's only 2 people that work there, and I bet you they only have 2 people, 2 clients at a time going there.
That's
So I don't know what.
somebody had, I believe had mentioned that it would mostly be by appointment and that there would be about 2 employees and then, right.
So that's 3 cars. So if 2 employees both got a car, you have one. My wife's going to pick a kitchen, and Jeremy's wife is going to pick a kitchen. That's 4 cars, but you're allotting 8 to that space.
Because based on
Correct,
Ray,
that's right. So,
200, yeah, one space per 200 square feet.
yeah, it would be on the lower end of the retail.
And how big? And how big?
Even
is
if there was somebody else waiting for, say they got there early for the next appointment, maybe.
Right. How many spaces is? How many square feet is that?
1,500 square feet.
So it's 15. So 15 times. So you need 7.5 spaces, rounded up to 8. What we're saying.
Correct.
Okay. So at the end of the day, your job is to say this is going to work or not going to work. I think it should work. What do you think?
I think you make a good point. As long as the retail and the showroom portion is going to function as discussed, and that would lower it by 4, and then we're very close, especially in scenario. Well, that would put us right there in scenario 3.
Right. Okay.
The commission also does have the ability to waive a percentage of the parking based on the shared use of the site, the residential and retail and commercial nature of the first floor tenants, as well as waiving a percentage of parking for the affordable unit as well.
right, and here is I guess one question is the residential parking going to, and Mr. Masley can answer this, I'm sure, Jeremy Ginsberg here, is the residential parking and how many spaces will be reserved for residential uses, Bob?
Excuse me, for the record, Robert Maslin, attorney for the applicant. The reserved spaces are 7, 1 for each bedroom, and so the number of spaces actually reserved are 7. If I could make another couple of minor observations here.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
The joint parking regulation does allow for reserving resident in a mixed-use development, allows reservation of spaces for the residents as long as the rest of the parking supply is going to be sufficient for the commercial uses. So that's one point. The other is in order to get to this 1635 in scenario 3 for the quick service restaurant, what they did was take the entire 2125 and backed out 490 square feet. They didn't back out any of the restroom space or the corridor space, and if it can be a consideration in reducing under the inclusionary zoning reg or the joint parking, those spaces would be split because they're necessary, whether this is all retail food or part quick service and part retail food. So rather than consider all of it and raising that quick service number up to 1635, one consideration you might use to reduce it is the fact that those spaces are actually combined between the 2 uses.
Yeah. The other thing that doesn't, and I guess Greg, this is a question for you. In scenario 1, it's 3,600 square feet, and then in scenarios 2 and 3, it goes to 3,625 square feet. So, how or why did you grow the size of the space?
That was just reflecting exactly the documentation and the program that was given, and the 3,600 I wasn't, that was prior, so that was already approved right at that number. So it's 25 square feet. It doesn't round up or down, but I wanted to reflect what was actually in the documents.
Okay. I kind of get it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a small use, and we approved it. We always knew it was going to be retail on the ground floor, so I think it's fine. But any other commissioners wanted to comment on this one before we can close this hearing after this, right?
Yeah, once you go to the public, yeah.
Anything you want to add to this, Adam? Questions, comments, observations? You good? George, I see your lights on. Any questions, comments, George? You good? Where Jim ran? Any questions on this one, Jim?
No, I'm okay. Thank you.
Great. And then we're missing Jeff Ball.
Yeah, no Jeff Ball.
No Jeff Ball today. Okay. Would anybody in the general public like to speak to this application? Okay, seeing none. Anything to? You're the applicant, Bob Maslin. So anything you want to add to close before we close?
No, I'm good. I just wanted to thank the commission for giving this a little more consideration and giving us an opportunity to kind of modify this to make sure it's going to work. We started with a different scenario, and we ended up with something that I think is more workable, and hopefully you'll approve it. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I think the bath store is going to be a non-traffic generator, and I think it'd be cool to have a convenience store and a coffee shop there.
Sure.
All righty. With that being said, I would entertain a motion to close this hearing. Adam makes a motion. Jim Rand makes a second. All's in favor? Great. Thanks a lot, Greg.
Everyone.
Thank you.
Help, sir. Great. Next item on the agenda. Did we technically open this one or not?
Yes, we did.
We
but I don't
opened it, right?
recall when.
Yeah. Next nomination is continuation of coastal site plan review number 185 A's and Apple, flood damage prevention application number 197 A's and Apple, land filling and regrading application number 105A, Mark and Margaret Maybell at 21 Tokeneke Trail. The proposal is to raise the existing residence and construct a new single-family dwelling west of its current location, construction of a new driveway, patio area, and retaining walls, construct and install a new dock consisting of a fixed pier, ramp, and platform, and to perform related site development activities within regulated areas, including regrading of the property and installation of a stormwater management and new septic system. The 2.84 plus or minus acre subject property is located on the south side of Tokeneke Trail, approximately 850 feet west of its intersection with Runkenhage Road. Thank you, Jeremy. And is shown on Assessor's map number 69 as lot 37, located in the R1 zone. So this is an existing house that is in the Tokeneke section of town, near the Tokeneke Beach neck of the woods, where their proposal is to raise the existing house or demolish the existing house and build a new house near the same location. Fred, what do we got?
Yeah, so this is a largely a small cottage-like house currently on the property now, located in the flood zone. The applicant proposes to demo the existing residence and construct a larger single-family residence with associated improvements, including a pool on the property, in compliance with Section 880 of the regulations and the FEMA regulations. We have comments that were submitted on the application from Darren Ostafine of Department of Public Works. Those comments were submitted on March 28th and are included as part of the record. The application was also referred out to Connecticut Deep for comment, and we did not receive comments back from Deep. However, I'm going to confirm that. Doug DeVesta is representing the applicant on this application, and he is here tonight to provide a summary of the application and answer any questions the commission may have. Doug?
Doug DeVesta,
Thank
welcome.
you, Fred.
Hey, man.
Thank you, Steve. Could I have the screen, please?
Darien Meetings will give you the screen.
Okay. It's not there.
Did you receive it?
Yeah, there we go. Okay. Okay. There we go. Just get this over here. Come on now. Come on. Come on. Sorry about this, guys. I have everything all prepared, and then there we go. No, this is doing up here. I can't blow it up right now. Well, I'm not sure what's going on here, why it's not blowing up.
Were you trying to drag it left and right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why don't you use your cursor and grab the left side of the window, the PDF box window? Slide down. No, slide down, grab it in the middle.
There we go. There we go. Okay.
Go.
There we go. Now we got it. Now we're cooking. Thanks, Steve.
That's right, man.
Okay, so for the record, Doug DeVesta, professional engineer, represent the applicant. Just a little background information. Approximately 10 years ago, the Maybells tried to take this lot and combine. This is 21, which is the application right now. This is 23, where their existing residences right now. They wanted to combine those two lots and try to create a third lot out of it. So you have the existing house lot, potential lot in the center, and the existing house on 21. That did not go very far because we couldn't get a septic system within the new lot itself, because each of the two houses had septic systems. So then we fast forward to 2016. Seymour's office prepared a document that went and kept the two lots separate. So this is 23 with their existing residence. This is where the cottage is right now. And they did a lot line revision. If you can see, this is the former lot line right here for lot 23. And then this was all lot 21. So what they ended up doing is we revised the lot line to something like this, that basically gave approximately, equal amounts to the two parcels. So again, so parcel 21 Tokeneke Trail is right here, and then 23 is right here with the whole former line in here. So again, the lot lines were revised there. So now what we're proposing is we're located in the R1 zone. Again, as Fred mentioned, we're a 2.84 acre parcel. There's an existing cottage on the property. It has a driveway coming off the Tokeneke Trail that comes into a parking area and to a garage under. And then this driveway continues on through to 23 Tokeneke Trail. There's also 23 Tokeneke Trail, just for your information, does have another access point here on Tokeneke Trail that's combined with 25 Tokeneke Trail. So this is how they can access their property once this house is constructed. The property does have direct access to Scotts Cove right in here. There's rock outcrop throughout the property as delineated by the Seymour's office here. Is this hatching mark in this area in here. It's all ledge rock. Most of the property is lawn around the existing residence and along the south side of the retaining wall and down below the existing retaining wall where the flagstone patio is, and then also on the east side of the driveway, and then wooded area further to the east. The site was checked for tidal wetlands by soil scientists and environmental services on October 24th and 28th of 2011, and wetlands were found associated with the Scotts Cove. A little easier to read out this is my site rendering. So this orange line that I'm following right now is the tidal wetlands, and anything to the east and south of that is considered tidal wetlands. The existing residence is served by a septic system that's on the east side of the driveway. And as Fred mentioned, the site is within the 1% annual flood boundary according to FEMA. We have an AE zone, which is this kind of a purple line that I'm highlighting right now. That's the upper end of the AE zone, which is elevation 13. And then this is the boundary, these are the lower boundary of it. There's also the flood, there's also a flood velocity zone in here, which is up to elevation 14. So what we're proposing to do is raise the existing structure. So demolish this existing cottage and then construct a new residence further back from the coastal line. If you look at here, this is the 100-foot CAM review line. So you can see this house is mostly in the upper, the 100-foot CAM review line. And the new house is being pushed further west outside of that CAM area, and also keeping it outside the AE zone, the 13, elevation 13. So you're gonna come in the driveway, there'll be a little courtyard in front of the house for guests, and then there'll be a split in the driveway to service the residents into their garage area. The proposed first floor elevation is going to be at 24. The lower elevation is at 14, 1 foot above the AE elevation 13. As mentioned, we are proposing a dock in this application. So this is the dock off that little peninsula on the property. So we have a dock that will have a ramp and a floating dock into Scotts Cove. Other work associated with this project will be a new septic system. The original system is on the east side. We're putting a new septic system meeting current health codes, revised grading. There will also be, this house will be connected to the town water system that's in Tokeneke Trail. And in terms of runoff, there will be catch basin, a catch basin at the bottom of the driveway that will collect the runoff from the driveway. And then there's also drains in the patio area where the pool is going, and there'll be a collection system around the house that will tie into a subsurface bioretention area that will handle the first inch of runoff. We are also seeking a waiver from Section 880 for a detailed stormwater management system because we have direct access to Long Island Sound, Scotts Cove. So we're asking for handle just a water quality volume, which we proposing within the existing septic system, and also adding 1 additional row so we handle the additional runoff, the 1 inch of runoff. In terms of the flow, the high point is approximately where my cursor is, and it's going to flow either in a southerly direction towards Scotts Cove or a little in the easterly direction, which ultimately gets down into to Scotts Cove. So we really, at the end of the day, the drainage pattern basically is staying the same. The septic system is designed for a 6-bedroom house. It has been submitted to the health department and has been approved by the health department on March 30th of this year. So we've got we have an approved septic system for it. Again, in terms of CAM, we looked at it, and there's really no environmental impacts to the site for the coastal area management. There's a benefit by treating the surface runoff, the water quality volume into the detention system. So that's handling the increase in the water quality volume, and also updating the septic system to meet the current health codes is also a benefit to the project. One other point I want to make out is that, as I talked about earlier, the driveway that's went through bisect the property to 23, that will be cut off, and the area from the house to the property line, the driveway will be removed and topsoiled and seeded. And then again, the access for 23, the existing residents will come in further north on Tokeneke Trail. And as mentioned before, that the house first floor elevation will be at 14, at 24, with the basement lower level at 14. The original house was around 19 with a garage under at elevation 10. So we are raising the house up, elevating the house considerably above the flood elevation at the site. As we mentioned, the dock itself will be a 7 by 14 floating dock within the cove itself. Would be a 3-foot wide by 24-foot ramp from a 14 by 13 foot ramp or piers, piers on sonotubes coming into the sound, and also that little area up in here is what your jurisdiction would be as relative to the planning and zoning commission. In terms of Darren's comments, we got comments from Darren on March 29th via email. I responded back to Darren's comment to Jeremy. Basically, item 1 more is an accurate description of the proposed project. Items 2 through 6, also an accurate statement regarding the stormwater management for the proposed site. Item number 7, Darren has the unfunded mandate for the state DEP requirements that was submitted to Darren on that. And items 8 and 9, note number 4 on my plan states that an as-built needs to be provided, and number 9 that will provide a certification once the project is completed. That's basically the overall of the project. If there's any questions from the commissioners, I'd be glad to answer them. And also, Renato is on the call tonight to discuss the elevations of the house itself, if you have any questions regarding the house. That's it, Steve.
Okay, thanks, Doug. We definitely have some questions. Jeremy's going to start off with some threshold items.
Yeah, Doug, one question. The plan you show on the screen shows the proposed dock. Do you have a revision date on that? We want to make sure we're referencing the correct plans here.
The revision date should be number 3, April 20th, 2022, revised house footprint and added dock. So that's the latest plans.
Yeah.
Okay, April 20th, and that's uploaded to the website.
It
Yes?
should be, yes, correct.
Okay.
Okay.
Doug, I don't believe hard copy files were, can you confirm if hard copy files of that last revision were submitted to the office?
It looks like your plan's got 2 revisions on it, Doug. We only have the initial one dated March 14th. So we're two plans behind you. We're on 2 plans behind you.
And yeah, I'd have to check my files here and see. I don't see anything in my hard copies here. I thought I did, but maybe I thought I uploaded everything relative to the doc. Because when I revised the plan, then doc application and the CAM report, everything was uploaded at that point.
Can you just slide over to your revision date on that plan that's on the screen for me, Doug?
Yep.
Yeah, he's got a March 24th and an April 20th.
Yep. Okay.
Do you have hard copies of that, or don't have copies at all?
We got to check. I mean,
We
I
gotta
don't
check.
have, but we got to check. They might be here.
Okay, if you've uploaded them, though, that's fine.
That's it.
We may ask you for 1 hard copy for the hard copy file.
Sure.
The world's changed now with all this uploading stuff.
Yeah.
You guys are saving a lot of paper.
Lost
Good
everything.
That's all right.
And Steve, you had a question about the elevations of the house.
Yeah, before we go, well, with regards to Darren's stuff, just really quick on the last item, does this thing need one of those flood certifications things that it's out of the flood zone?
It's going to need an elevation certificate when we're all said and done.
Right.
So that would be a typical condition of approval.
That's number 9, right?
Yeah.
Because Darren didn't come up with anything that was anything earth shattering.
No, he did not.
Because usually you say yes and do the response to that. We get that. Okay. Can we switch to the house for a minute? Because,
Sure.
Whoever did the plans, which is Renard Contrarian Associates, are those guys here tonight?
Yes, he is.
Because sometimes on these houses, we do get the elevations on, yeah, that's on page 1. I just want to make sure my eyes are starting to go. I just want to make sure the house, if somebody could just tell us a little bit about the house, number of bedrooms, square footage. Make sure all
Well,
the
bedroom is 6 bedrooms. Renato, are you on? Right here, he's here, yeah.
bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, and then I'm looking at the plan. It says 29.5 to the middle of the eve. But that's
Renato. We can't hear you, Renato.
we lost it.
Yeah, we did. I don't know what happened to him.
Okay.
You might have to dial back on again. So there, he's still here. Yeah, he's RG down there at the bottom.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yes.
hear you now. Yeah. We got you.
Now? Can you
Yep.
hear me now?
Yep. Can we share? You want to share your screen?
Yes. Let me. I press share here, right? But it's not sharing. There we go.
Who's
Share
talking? I'm sorry, so I can make presenter.
RG, Renato.
screen. Yes. Can you hear me?
Gotcha. All right.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yes. I'm sorry. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're going to need clearer details on this.
Okay, that's okay. RG, wherever you are, I don't see you. But welcome, sir. If you could just explain the plan. Yeah, all right. I see your RG. Your microphone's not on, which is fine. If you could just explain the house and the height and how you got to the average grade, all that good stuff, square footages.
The house is 7,350 square feet to the first and second floors, with an additional 3,500 or so to be finished in the basement area, lower level. It meets the requirements for height. We're 29.6. The house is on the garage side. It's about half a level lower than the main house, and that allows us to have a walkout on the second floor over the garage, directly onto the higher part of the property. So from the current house on 23, looking back from that view, you end up with a much smaller house than it is, because it's wedged into the higher part of the property. And we moved the house to where it is to make it compliant and be able to have a walkout basement. They will walk out to the pool area. And also it allows us to have the better view. If we had brought the house closer to the street, we would be too high and the view would be blocked by the hill. If we brought it closer into the water, we would be at the flood level, so that doesn't work either. If we brought it further to the west, to the east, we end up also in the flood zone. So even though it's a large parcel, we are kind of limited to where we can place the house if you want it to be compliant with the flood elevation and also with the setbacks for CAM. The only other place you could have put the house would have been on top of the highest point of it, the property, in which case it would really stick out in the neighborhood. It would, be very high, would require a very high driveway. So like in many projects, it's nice that the limitations tend to design the house itself. If you follow the lot, this is the place that makes the most sense for the size house that we want to build there. And by having also a walkout basement, it also allows the house to have an extra area of the house with views to the river, to the Scott Cove, which makes it more desirable as well.
Renato, Jeremy Ginsburg, can you send over a copy of the calculations you did relative to grade and building height? Usually with houses more than 29 feet, we want to make sure we have that all buttoned up. So email that or give me a hard copy at your convenience and we'll double check everything. And the other question for you, Renato, is will there be any blasting or hole ramming as part of the project?
Say again?
Blasting or hole ramming?
I'm sorry, I couldn't
I
make
would
out.
think, Jeremy, this is
That's
Doug.
okay.
I would suspect we would have blasting.
That's definitely a Doug question.
Yep.
Yeah, blasting will definitely be required on here.
How much, Doug?
Yes, the height of the house that we used was calculated by Seymour Associates. So they gave us the average grade of the current location of the house with the current property and also the final grade. And then that's how we calculated. So we have those calculations from him, and we'll forward that over to the town.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, she's got the zoning text box here. Right,
Yeah.
that's here. It says 29.8 on that plan, which is dated March 10th.
Yeah, we'll have to get the details.
Yeah, it's because I mean I hear you 100%, Renato, but the backside, of it, which is the backside, even it's got to be match the average grade. Just looks a little bit taller, but you'll get that stuff to us. So it's 6 bedrooms, and how many bathrooms you have in there?
We have 6 bathrooms.
Okay.
1 bathroom per house and 2 half bathrooms. I'm sorry, we have also a pool bathroom, so we have a 7th bathroom.
Okay, and just to double check, Doug, the septic system, is it 1 or 2, and is it size property for 7 bathrooms or so?
Well, it's all based on bedrooms, not based on bathrooms. We designed it for 6 bedrooms, and that is located on the west side of the house.
And we only have 1 septic system, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Let me switch over to the commissioners really quick, if they have any questions. Jim, Adam, George, White, you guys have any questions at this point in time? George is saying no. Jim's saying okay. Adam, you're good too? Okay. And the elevation, the pool, all this stuff is out of the flood zone. It's all 19 feet, a lot higher. Right, the pool's out of the flood zone too, you said?
Yes, it is.
Yes, all the improvements are outside of the flood zone.
And even the lower level basement, which is 3,500 square feet, is out of the flood zone too?
That's correct. That's elevation 14. And the flood elevation is 13.
Okay. Anything else we're missing before we go to the public?
No.
Okay. Would anybody in the general public like to speak to this application? The only one I see would be Wilder Gleason. He's not. Bingo. There's our house. Yeah, so on the left-hand side of your top elevation, which is what, the north elevation, it says 29.5. Then the south elevation on the right-hand side, which is not necessarily the average grade. And then the east elevation. Want to just show the east elevation really quick? Bingo. Yeah, that's about right. And we got a 3-car garage there, right? Yep. Okay. 3 cars.
That's correct.
There's no one from the public want to speak to this application. Okay. Before we don't need to keep the application over to get that other calculations from him.
Nope.
Right?
Nope, it's just to confirm, and then we have something in the record, so we can close the record.
Okay, fantastic. You're all set, right, Doug?
Yes, I am. I will get you a hard copy, Jeremy, for your files.
Thank you.
And then you're all set, right? Right.
Yep, we're all set.
Okay. With that said, I would entertain a motion to close this hearing. Jim, George Riley makes a motion. Look for a second. Adam makes a second. All's in favor? Close 4-0. Fantastic. Thanks, Doug. Thanks,
Thank you.
Renato.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Welcome, guys. All right. Moving along. Next item on the agenda is subdivision application number 631, Richard and Kimberly Alexander at 37 Stephanie Lane. Proposal to divide the subject 1.44 plus or minus acres subject property into 2 separate lots, respectively 26,957 square feet and 35,990 square feet in size. 37 Stephanie Lane will remain 26,975 square feet, including the existing reds and all associated improvements. the 35,990 square foot building lot to include an 18,000 square foot accessway to Hoyt Street at 215 Hoyt Street is to be donated and conveyed to the Darien Land Trust and will remain undeveloped. Conceptual improvements of the 215 Hoyt Street property are shown only to demonstrate the feasibility of subdivision for development purposes. The subject property is located at the terminus of Stephanie Lane, approximately 0.38 miles west of its intersection with Hollow Tree Ridge Road, and is shown on Assessor's map number 8 as lot 62 in the R1 zone. Fred, what do we got?
Yeah, so this is a 2-lot subdivision off of between Stephanie Lane and Hoyt Street. The applicant is proposing, as you mentioned, Steve, to subdivide the property and convey the second lot to be created to the Darien Land Trust. Heather Brown Olson, the attorney representing the applicant in this case, is here this evening to describe the proposal to you. So Heather, why don't you take it away?
Sure, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Mr. Richard Alexander is also with us tonight, as are 2 members of the Darien Land Trust. This proposal was conceived when the Alexanders began a conversation with the Land Trust concerning the excess acreage that they had on their property. The property is uniquely situated to be used for land trust purposes because approximately 1.25 acres of the existing parcel are heavily wooded and sloping. They provide a barrier for the upland Stephanie Lane subdivision properties and a buffer between Stephanie Lane and Hoyt Street. The property that's proposed to be the subject of the subdivided lot would be known as 215 Hoyt Street. It currently has absolutely no improvements on it. However, there are easements for sanitary sewer as well as water. So the sewer and water lines are going up the existing accessway. They've been in place now since the late 1950s. The property, as I mentioned, to be subdivided, in fact, does not now contain any building, nor will there be any building or development in the future. The only reason that a feasibility study was done for building purposes was to comply with the gifting requirements under both the Internal Revenue Service Code and the Land Trust. So those calculations were done, but for the Commission's purposes, most importantly in this application is that by granting the subdivision application, the Alexander's lot will retain 0.62 acres, and in doing so, in no way is going to create a non-conforming lot. So the 37 Stephanie Lane property with its existing improvements will remain intact, will not be affected by the subdivision, and the zoning data tables have been generated in order to demonstrate that by granting this application, not only are we fostering and supporting this additional land to be granted to the land trust in its natural state in perpetuity, but it will have no practical effect with regard to any existing improvements and the existing structure on the Alexander property.
Okay. And we can have a subdivision map, right? Yeah. Okay. Who's going to show us this subdivision map? Is anybody going to present that, or just?
I can pull up the subdivision map on my screen if that would be helpful, Heather.
Yes, thank you. The hard copies have been presented to the commission members as well. So we will be focusing on the subdivision map itself.
Yep, I got the hard copies in my hand. Thank you.
For the record, Jeremy Ginsburg, any future land trust access to the property would be from Hoyt Street. There would be no access from Stephanie Lane. It's a much higher elevation. So if the land trust needs to walk into the property for any reason, they would do it from Hoyt Street.
Right, I'm just
That's
trying to find.
correct.
So how do you get from Hoyt Street up to this new lot?
You can see it's kind of roughed in a little bit. There's a little curb cut now on Hoyt Street,
Okay.
and you would just kind of drive up, more likely walk up the hill.
I believe that any kind of access at all from Hoyt Street is limited. There's a shared access to the Maloney property that we see on the subdivision map that's fairly close to Hoyt Street. Other than that, it's heavily wooded, and truly you'd be walking up there to check on the property if the land trust wanted to just make sure that everything was safe and sound and there hadn't been any trespass or any other disturbance to the property. They certainly, within their charter, can do their inspections. But short of that, it is unimproved, heavily wooded property.
And this is the. So this new dwelling is
It's just conceptual.
Right, I understand.
Right. So this shows the accessway coming in from Hoyt.
And this is okay.
And this is existing. To the north is the Caputo property, and it's the monuments, right, Heather? The monument.
Yes.
So most people have driven by many times as you go up Hoyt Street, and you've seen this little building which makes or sells monuments. I don't even know. And that is the building directly to the north of where this driveway would be.
Right, now where's the land trust lot on here?
Right there, where your finger is.
This one?
They're looking to buy this piece here. This?
Actually, it will be a gift. There's no consideration that's being exchanged. And
That's fine.
there are certain regulations that are necessary for the applicant to follow as it relates to completing a gift. And that protocol is set out in the land trust chart. I believe that we again have two members of the land trust here this evening that can speak to that point.
Yes, hello, it's John O'Brien. I'm the president of the Land Trust, and Kimberly and Richard Alexander have been in communication with us and Heather for several months. Many of the board members have had a chance to walk the property, and that's the only thing that will happen on this property. There won't be any vehicles making their way up that climb there. We're excited. There's still a few procedural things to be accomplished, but none of them should be in any way much of a delay for the property to be conveyed to the land trust. Another 1.24 acres.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. No, that's fine. I mean, it's the land trust bought a piece of land near my house, and it's really cool. I walk my dog on it, but this one you're not going to walk on because there's nothing really to go to. Okay, now the
report. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The access way to the new conceptual lot. That's all. The grades on that are okay, Jeremy?
Yes, I asked Heather to pull together some information on if someone was to run a driveway up there, and they hired Redness and me to pull together a conceptual development plan. Again, emphasis on the word conceptual because nothing's going to be built. And they were able to show that a driveway could be built with a fairly flat area near Hoyt Street, about 3%, which is what we require, and then not going above 10%. And that's shown on this plan cross-section to show that, yes, could be, but in fact, the land trust's intentions are to keep it vacant. But it is, as Heather noted, the Alexander house is at the top of the hill, and the Alexander's backyard slopes down. And then as you go further down the hill, it slopes further down, all the way down to Hoyt Street. And of course, if you go even across the street, it slopes down to the Norotan River. So
in the cemetery.
Exactly, through the cemetery property down to the river. So a lot of legwork was shown and good details put together by Redness and Mead, who's familiar with the requirements and able to show that, well, that a driveway could go here.
So, but at the end of the day, someone's going to come back and build a house on this, right?
No,
Never.
no. The land trust is being gifted the property by Mr. Alexander,
Well, shoot.
but they had to show a conceptual for IRS purposes.
Oh, so it has value. I got it.
Buildable lot.
Got it. Okay. Understood. Got it. Do any other commissioners have any questions with regards to this application or the subdivision plan? Adam saying no, Jim Rand saying no, and George Riley, you okay? Fantastic. We heard from the land trust. Would anybody in the general public like to speak to this subdivision application? Looks like no. Okay. So with that said, you're all square, Jeremy and Fred?
Yeah, all set.
Okay. With that being said,
Could I just say one more thing? I won't take too much time at all, but
of course,
the land trust is,
go ahead.
I'll make it quick. Land trust is very, very grateful to the Alexanders. And I think what maybe some people, and I had until recently noticed, is the keeping this as an open space and with the, what I'll call R5 new neighbors, very similar topography, wooded, heavily wooded, very important, as we've all learned, with some of the excess water that has flowed, and these trees and everything, the shrubs, everything is in there. It's going to be very critical. Also, as I look closer at the property and where it sits, it's important because between this property, the Alexander property, our new 5 neighbors, it's a bit of a sanctuary of open space. To the north of us are the roads off of Camp Avenue, very close together housing, a lot of roof lines, a lot of driveway, a lot of road. You go on the other side of Camp Avenue the same way, and then you run into Kensett, which used to be all open space and now clearly is not. So we are very, very happy about this opportunity, and it adds to our string of properties up and down Hollow Tree Ridge Road as well, if we can call this off of, which it is. That's all.
You're getting yourself a little portfolio of properties on Hoyt Street and Hollow Tree Ridge Road.
Yeah, no hopscotch.
Good. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Anything else to add, Ms. Brown or Ms. Olson, before we close the application?
Not at all. Thank you.
Fantastic. All right. With that said, I would entertain a motion to close this hearing. Jim Rand makes a motion. Looking for a second. Adam makes a second. All those in favor?
Hearing's closed. Thank
Hearing's
you.
closed. Thank you very much, everyone, for their time. Hearing's closed. We'll get back to you in a couple of weeks. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Next item on the agenda is coastal site plan review number 369, flood dam prevention application number 428, William and Abigail Husberg at 6 Pratt Island. Proposal to construct additions and make alterations to the existing single-family residence, including the construction of a 2-story addition to the garage and a 1-story addition to the southeast side of the house. Remove a portion of the flagstone patio in front of the residence and install walkways, relocate and elevate the HVAC equipment, and perform related site development activities within regulated areas. The 0.76 plus minus acre subject property is located on the west side of Pratt Island, approximately 800 feet south of its intersection with Nearwater Lane and Baywater Drive, and is shown on Assessor's map number 55 as lot number 115 in the R1 zone. Fred, what do we got, sir?
Yep. So another flood damage prevention application, coastal site plan review. The applicant proposes to make several additions to an existing house on the lot, compliant with section 880 of the regulations. I should note that the application went before the Zoning Board of Appeals in April with respect to the building envelope on the site, and a variance was approved for that. We have Wilder Gleason here this evening, the applicant's representative, to provide an overview of the application and answer any of the commission's questions. I would also note that Rick Talamelli of the Planning and Zoning Department also submitted a number of comments for the record regarding the flood damage prevention application. Wilder, why don't you take it away?
Can I share my screen?
You sure can, sir. Darien meetings will get you your shared screen access.
Yep. Give me 1 second.
Time, man.
Like there we go. Okay. Wilder Gleason for Abby and Will Hausberg, and I have our architects, Jake Watkins and Nick Darren, on with me. This is the site. It's 6 Pratt Island. This is the house, and the front of the house.
Wilder,
Yes?
you're not. We don't see your screen, buddy.
Okay, let me get out of this one. Let me see. Entire screen. All right, let me pull it up again. Just a sec.
Let me get you back in person sooner or later.
Wilder, do you want me to share?
If you've got it, Jake, that would be great. I had it all up and ready to go. If you guys want to let Jake share the screen, that'd be great.
You guys see my screen?
You sure can.
Great. All right, Wilder, I'll do the slides for you. Go ahead.
All right, great. I don't see your screen yet, but we're starting off. This is a Google Earth of the house and neighboring houses. You can see the existing house. Jake, if you can put your cursor on it, that'd be great. And there's some neighbors nearby, but the access is provided by a narrow street, Pratt Island Road, and it's not really a street under the definition. And as a result, we don't have frontage on the street, and we have a rear yard setback. There are no neighbors who look at the front door of the Hausberg house. Everyone is oriented to their respective water views. The house was originally constructed in 1920, and it's right on the property line. You can see it's very close to the water, and in a VE 15 and AE 14 flood zones. We'll call those out when we get to the survey. And what we're proposing to do is to lift and relocate all mechanical equipment so all exterior equipment complies with FEMA. Right now, none of the exterior equipment complies with FEMA. We're going to move the interior equipment, a furnace, so that it will comply with the zone in which it's located, but we can't lift it to meet the VE zone limitations, which is 2 feet higher. We're going to remove some dormers. We're going to make some additions to the house, all of which comply with the FEMA regulations. The ZBA already approved this, and Rich Talamali reviewed this for FEMA compliance and concurs with our analysis that we are compliant. Peter and Lori McLaughlin, the neighbors who are most directly affected, living at 7 Pratt Island and 9 Pratt Island, have signed off and approved, given us their support for the project. If we could have the next slide. Jake?
It's on the next slide. Can you guys see the next slide here?
Yes,
Yep.
we can. Oops, yeah, we can.
I guess I can't. My machine must be very slow. Anyway, this is the existing survey. It shows 0.75 acres in an R1 zone. It's an undersized lot. The house is in the VE and AE 14 zones. You can see the line there. The first floor elevation is 12 feet. And we're supposed to be a little bit higher, but it's been there since the 1920s, most of it. And almost all of the house is outside of the VE zone, outside of the buildable area, with only a sliver of the existing garage and a small section of the southeast wing meeting setbacks. Mechanical equipment is on a platform behind the garage at elevation 10.3. It needs to be up at 15. The generator on the northeast side of the garage is at elevation 14.1, and it's not compliant with FEMA either.
That needs to be at 15 also, right?
Yeah, that needs to be at 15 as well. And we're going to make that happen.
Yep.
Turning to the pictures. The first one shows the front entryway. You can see it's not centered on the house, and there's a dormer above it that we're going to remove, and some other dormers as well. 4 of the dormers on the house are going to be removed. 3 of them are not compliant with setbacks, so we'll be reducing volume that is in the outside of the buildable area. You can see the generator in the second picture to the right of the garage. And our main addition is going to be a 12-foot addition to the garage coming forward over the existing pavement and providing a bedroom on the second floor with additional garage space below. All of it complying with FEMA in terms of design. Let's turn to the proposed survey. Okay, so summarizing what we're doing, the proposed survey shows that we're going to extend the garage approximately 12. You guys ready?
Yep.
Yep.
We're going to extend the garage approximately 12 feet into the buildable area and construct a bedroom above. We'll construct a 1-story roof with a 32 square foot vestibule at the ground level on the first floor that is shown here. And we're going to relocate the exterior ACE compressor and generator to a new, larger mechanical deck at elevation 15 on the northeast side of the garage. Now, that equipment platform received variance approval last month from ZBA because, frankly, we're moving the equipment out of the back of the house right next to the flood area and into a safer area on the northeast side of the garage. And that whole equipment pad will be screened. Let me just keep going. The interior equipment, the furnace in the back of the garage, will be lifted to the maximum height achievable in the back of the garage to elevation 15, which will be compliant with the flood zone in which that equipment is located. And I just wanted you to know impervious surface is actually being reduced in this plan. That's shown in the bottom line of the table of zoning compliance. There's a slight reduction of impervious surface, which means we have no need for water detention or water treatment facilities on this. If you look at the sketch, we have the next slide. I'm sorry?
Just to interrupt, the reason why you're reducing it is because you're building over the asphalt driveway? Is pretty much.
We're building over the asphalt driveway, and I think there's some other changes that are going to, I think we're reducing eaves in some areas, and so the addition is not an increase in impervious surface, and I'm not exactly sure how we got to a net reduction, but that's where we came out.
It's the because we're building over the driveway and also we're reducing impervious surfaces at the front entry as well.
Yeah, the driveways. Yeah. Okay. So that's what's happening. Thank you, Jake. There's a sketch of the existing equipment location and the proposed equipment location, which demonstrates clearly where we're relocating the existing ACs and how they're going to be on that equipment pad adjacent to the garage. And the sketch of the equipment pad is both a section and a plan. And the section is particularly interesting because it was Jake's suggestion that we separate the equipment pad from the house. So it's a standalone structure in an AE flood zone. And Therefore, the equipment only needs to meet the AE flood zone requirement of 15. And that was a brilliant move. And then the other thing we have is the equipment that's in the back of the garage is now going to be accessed through a door that comes off of the steps on the water side of the equipment pad. And that will be provide access to that furnace in the back there that will be lifted to elevation 12. It's currently at elevation 7 feet. So that's an 8-foot lift, and it's a huge improvement in FEMA compliance. The next sketch or slide is a picture of the dormers that we're going to remove. 3 of them are highlighted, and so that those are the ones that are not in the setbacks or compliant, and then we have one that meets setbacks, and that too is coming down, largely for aesthetic reasons, but none of that work is going to be difficult or have impact on coastal resources. We have a letter from Justin Jacobson, our structural engineer, saying that all of these structures can be designed to comply with FEMA requirements and resist flooding forces and uplift and everything else. We haven't done that design at this point because we need the approvals. That the design will be incorporated into the construction documents. And then Redness and Mead Soil and Erosion Control Plan, which is the next slide, shows controls which will mitigate any construction impacts on coastal resources or neighboring properties. And their report, which is part of the record, confirms that there's no adverse impact on neighboring properties as a result of this. So we're looking for flood damage approval under section 820 at SEC. And since we're making this house compliant with FEMA in every possible respect to the limits of what's reasonable, short of lifting it. And we also need CAM site plan review, coastal site plan review. And there's a report from Redness and Mead indicating there's no adverse impact on coastal resources due to what we're doing. Most of the development is on the landward side of the house. And we're moving just a little section of an equipment pad behind the garage to the northeast side, further away from mean high water, and there are coastal resources that are below mean high water. So you have all the documents you need to approve the permits that we've asked for, approval under section 810 and approval under section 820, coastal site plan review and flood damage prevention, respectively.
Great, thank you, sir. Just to make sure we're all on the same page, it sounds like this house may have been impacted by flooding in some of the big storms we had. Is that a fair guess?
I don't. I know that Sandy came to elevation 11 in Rowayton, and our first floor is at 12. So I doubt that we had significant damage during Sandy. Although a portion of the house in the back is in the VE15 zone. I haven't asked the Housebergs as to who were. I don't know if they owned it in Sandy. I think it was owned by Wynn Shapiro at that time, and it was after 2012 that this was acquired by the Housebergs.
Okay, because at the end of the day, this is you're going to be in FEMA compliance, and you're trying to get it closer to FEMA compliance, but it's really for their own personal safety, their own personal, livability. I would want to make sure my generator is out and as high as possible, and my furnace is as high as possible, and all my equipment as high as possible, and that's what you guys are doing.
It's doing it to the extent that they can, and the thing you have to understand is that they're not making a substantial improvement. The cost of all this they're doing is less than 50% of the value of the house, so they aren't required to lift it under FEMA.
Yeah, no, they're adding one bedroom and a hallway above, and a new garage for my car.
Yeah, it's minimal. So,
yeah, I mean, I like when people are trying to make their houses safer, so we don't have to go out and.
Yeah, and there's aesthetic improvements here to go along with what is major FEMA improvements, and I applaud the architects and the Housebergs for taking this approach.
I 100% agree with you. Okay. Commissioner, questions on this one right now? It seems like a pretty simple item. They're lifting a bunch of mechanicals and adding a bedroom, in front of the garage, a new parking space. And they're going through a lot of effort to do all this. Adam, you're okay? Thumbs up. George, you're okay? And where is Jim Rand? You okay, sir? There we go. Thumbs up. Fantastic. Just as a little couple cleanup items, your letter from the engineer Jacobson in our packet's not signed, Wilder. The one you had on the screen was signed. And
we uploaded the one that was signed. That's
I'm sure you did.
So
I got it.
if you want, I'm more than happy to deliver a hard copy to the
No, it's okay. As long as it's uploaded on the website, because I don't surf the website. I just look at the packet they give me. But it's you have it at the
We uploaded our presentation, so the slides that we showed you are part of the record on Viewpoint.
Okay.
We will take a signed and stamped copy for the hard copy file, Wilder.
We'll get that to you. Okay.
Thank you.
Fantastic. And then the other item was that you said you got the neighbors to sign off. I want to open up to the public in a second, but did the neighbors those two neighbors give you letters that you want to stick in the file?
Well, we have one letter from Peter and Lori McLaughlin, and that was actually the last slide in our presentation. I don't think we got to it, but that was also uploaded, and they delivered it to us in advance of the ZBA hearing, and we just made it part of the record in this hearing as well. So they're most directly affected. They're right next to us. They own both the properties that are closest to us, and they approve it and support it.
Okay, fantastic. With that being said, is anybody in the general public like to speak to this application? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Fantastic. Anything else to add from the engineers or yourself, Wilder, before we close this?
We're all set. Jake, you have anything?
No, all set. Thank you very much.
Fred, you good? Jeremy,
We're good.
All right. With that said, I entertain a motion to close this public hearing. Adam makes the motion. Looking for a second. Jim Rand makes a second. All those in favor?
4-0.
4-0. Great job, Wilder. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes. Man. I think people make their houses better and safer. It's a good thing. All right. Can you turn off your microphone?
Gary is the applicant in the next 13-inch show. This is his.
Maloney. All right, here we go. Coastal site next on the agenda. Coastal site plan review number 67A. Flood damage prevention application number 55A. Brinley Lore Maloney at 13 Edgehill Drive. Proposal to remove an existing dock on the property, construct and install a new dock in the same location, consisting of a fixed pier, ramp, and platform and related site development activities within regulated areas. The 1.05 plus acre subject property is located on the southeast side of Edgehill Drive, approximately 420 feet east of Searles Road, and is shown in Assessor's map number 67 as lot number 39 in the R1 zone. So this is another house we have in Tokeneke where they're putting in a new dock. Fred, what do we got, sir?
That's correct, Steve. New dock application. The existing dilapidated dock on the property will be replaced by this new proposal, this new dock. It was approved by Army Corps and Connecticut Deep. Those approvals are included as part of your packets and included as part of the record in the matter. This is on the agenda for coastal site plan review and flood damage prevention. The portion of the dock that is within the jurisdiction of the town and the commission's review is just a very small portion of the landing area above mean high water. We have Gary Wetmore here this evening, the applicant's representative, to answer any questions that the commission may have.
Fantastic. Gary, welcome. You want to just explain really quick what we're doing here? Just so we have it on the record?
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. It's a fixed pier, ramp and float. The fixed pier is 100 feet long. Landward of the high tide line is a few steps to get over a stone wall and up to the elevation of the fixed pier. It goes out to a short ramp and a small float.
Okay, I'm just looking at it's a big lot, right?
Yes,
I'm sorry?
Yes,
Yeah, it's a long, odd shaped lot with an old, we don't have any pictures of the old dilapidated one, right?
The one that's there, you wouldn't even want to walk on. It's terrible.
Hence the reason why you build a new one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fantastic. And I mean, again, for commissioners, our jurisdiction is just the 3x3 section that's landward, where they attach this thing to. They already got all of their stuff to go into the borders for us where they were. And the length is the same as the old one, Gary, is that right? Pretty much?
It's pretty much the same. I don't know exactly, but I believe it is.
Okay, fantastic. Commissioner, questions on this one? Adam's good. Jim Rand, my marine specialist owning boats. You good? There you go. He's got thumbs up. George Riley, any questions on this one, sir?
I'm just curious. Are the Robins still involved in this? Are they?
No, he sold that house. There's a new owner.
What I thought. They don't need to be an applicant here.
No, I don't.
Jeremy Ginsburg here, P&Z staff. Following up on that, George, Gary's been working on this since I think 2018 or 2019 to get the all the necessary state approval, etc. And you're right, George. Todd Robbins used to own the property, and they moved late last year, early this year, if I recall. But they had this in the works for quite a while. It's Gary, these things take forever up at the state and Army Corps level as well. Takes a while.
Yeah, well, they have those approvals. It's a Brinley Maloney owns the property where this is going in, and I think there's an agreement between them and the Robbins property, formerly Robbins property. So it's a jointly owned pier, although it's all on Brinley's property.
Okay.
I mean, the application started in 2019.
Yeah.
And we're putting no stock in from the water side. It says that they're existing that remove for crane and barge and hand labor. So it shouldn't really disturb anything. And the EPC doesn't have to sign off on this. Got it. Okay.
Should we at least have the name of the owner on the record?
It's Anthony Miller.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All good.
So the applicant was Brinley Lore, and they switched it?
No, it was Todd and his Marta Robbins, who had lived there, George. They lived there forever.
Yeah, 20, 30 years more. Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to Todd a couple months ago, and we agreed. He's been there at least 20 years. And I guess, as Gary explained, he sold to Anthony Miller, and Anthony will be sharing the dock with Brinley, even though it's entirely on Brinley's property.
Got it. All right. Any other questions, George? We're good. Would anyone in the general public like to speak to this application? Okay, seeing none or hearing none, we're good. With that said or not said, I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing. Adam, you're going to Jim Rand's got this one since he's my marine guy. Looking for a second? George Riley's got the second. All those in favor? Close. Bingo. Hearing closed. Thank you, Gary, for your presentation. We'll get back to you on this one in a couple weeks and hopefully get you guys rocking and rolling after 4 years of application time.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening. Be safe.
You got patience, man. All right. Next item on the agenda is land filling regrading application number 528. Gregory and Kimberly, help me out here.
Borosage.
at 297 West Avenue. Proposal to construct a series of stone retaining walls to create a level yard and to stabilize the existing steep grade in the rear yard and perform related site development activities, including installation of stormwater management. The 0.17 plus minus acre subject property is located on the south side of West Avenue, approximately 150 feet west of its intersection with Hollow Tree Ridge Road, and is shown on Assessor's map number 75 as lot number 16 in the R1/5 zone. This looks like a house where, again, someone's fixing their driveway, and it's near my father-in-law's house.
Yes, it's a regrading of a backyard. Fred's going to fill you in.
All right,
Yeah.
Fred.
Yeah, so, regrading of a single-family home backyard. Current conditions, fairly steep sloping yard. The applicant proposes to construct 3 separate or stepped retaining walls in the back to create sort of a terraced situation to allow for a flatter yard at the top and better drainage with the installation of those walls. The applicant is also proposing the installation of 3 separate dry wells adjacent to those walls to help improve drainage on the property as well. Representing the applicant tonight is John Fontana to provide an overview and answer any questions of the commission. John, take it away.
Thanks, Fred. Hi, guys. How are you? We also have the architect engineer on, which is Mario Paniccia. And we built the house probably 8 years ago now. And it's been continuous deterioration of the backyard because of the steep slope. So what they're looking to do is just to stabilize the hill and stop any water runoff that's happening. So I submitted pictures, I submitted drawings from Mario, survey from Seymour. So it's it's pretty much just to stop the water runoff and give them some sort of a yard.
Cool. Was it? Yeah, this is just directly across the street. I mean, everyone wants a yard because everyone's got a lot of kids in our town. You need a backyard to play in, I bet.
So and if you see the pictures, you see what they have.
They're staring at Palmer's.
Yes.
Right? They're staring at the back of Palmer's, and then Palmer's is supposed to build a nice retaining wall at the back up to, so I'm hoping these two things match up, right?
Well, as long as they're working on their own lot, they should be fine.
Right, but Palmer's going to back up to them also.
That's correct. It does back up to that.
Okay. Yep, I know exactly where you are and what's going on. Any commissioners on this one have any questions or comments? Adam, say okay. George Riley, you're good. You saw the pictures. We're going to fill in our backyard and make a nice retaining.
Darren said comments on this. Darren.
Yeah, Darren Ostafine of the DPW did submit comments for the record. Yes, dated May 6th, 2022. Those comments are included as part of the record.
Now, my big question relative to this one is it says a dry stacked wall, but how high is the wall going to be? It doesn't have to be engineered?
If it's 4 feet or more, it needs to be engineered. But I think Morrow is designed it to be 5 feet.
The walls are, 2 of the walls are 3 feet high. The third is 30 inches high. So it's dry stacked and they're pretty stable and much more aesthetic than any other form. So just as a quick note that the plan really takes the water runoff from, and it saves about 50%, cuts it down about 50%. And most of the lot, 49% or so, is from 25 to 50% grade. And with the retaining walls, we'll achieve 2% grade for almost half of the site with grass.
Okay.
So,
and then where's the stormwater management system going? Because I see all the walls on your plans, but I didn't really see the stormwater management system.
You see the circles, those are the dry wells, and there's piping, and that's shown in the cross section. There's piping like right behind, and that would, we don't feel that much water is even going to get there because it will be absorbed with the grass. But anything that finds its way will be taken care of by the drainage.
So if the wall traps the water, it's going to go into a corrugated pipe, and the pipe's going to drain down into the drywall.
Drywall, correct.
Got it. So it's just a regular elevate. It's just regular gravity flow.
Yeah, the water now flows from the front yard to the backyard, down to the Palmer's property into Heights Road.
Right.
So they're intercepting some of that water that now, I would presume, gets into Heights Road, the eastern end of Heights Road, not the western end.
Okay. And I mean, it was already approved, so when I was going to put in, we're not putting in huge
Now,
Coltex or
This
that.
is Jeremy Ginsburg. John, when you put in the house originally, did you put in a drainage system in the backyard or the front yard?
No, we talked to Dave at that point, and they didn't want us to fill the yard. So, and there was a money issue with the owners at that point as well.
All right, and this was 20 years ago, John?
You said 8.
8?
No, this was about 8-9 years ago.
Okay. Yeah. And it was a replacement house at the time. So there was a house there. You just put on a slightly bigger house.
Correct. We went up. It was a single story, probably a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, if I remember correctly.
So that's why there was no drainage.
And we went back it up.
Because the amount of impervious surface added was quite minimal. So, okay.
Yeah, I remember this. You guys just tacked in a second story on top of the single story house.
And behind.
Yeah, I got it. I remember that.
We put an addition on the back and went up on the back side and then above the existing.
I got it. Okay, so that's why they really didn't get too deep into the weeds on the storm management
system. That would make
system.
sense. Yeah.
And now they're going to do it, and just because you're doing the grading, we have to do any big Coltex, right?
Yeah. So it's only theoretically only going to make things better for themselves and people downhill.
Okay, great. I asked everybody for questions on this one, right? Everyone all signed off on it. Did anybody in the general public like to speak to this application? I think we only have Lindsay Kilmurray left here. All right. Anything else, Fred? We're good?
We're good.
We're good. And Darren asked to find his questions were in here where I didn't see those.
Darren was signed off on it because he said the same thing. There's no new impervious surface. So so he said no need to put in drainage. Anything they put in should only make it better.
Yeah. Would you like me to read the comment into
if you would.
the application?
I didn't see that.
So it may not have made it into the packets this week, but Darren Ossifine's comments dated May 6, 2022. The subject land use application appears to be for purpose of reducing steeply sloped landscape by installing a series of tiered retaining walls. There is no additional impervious area proposed other than the minimal and natural surface area of stones to be used for construction. The reduction in slope of existing grade will result in slower stormwater runoff, not less runoff, albeit slower, which may actually reduce peak rates of runoff. No drainage report was found, nor reviewed, nor warranted. This proposal should reduce some of the erosion of the landscape evident in the photographs provided, the application, and create a surface more amenable to maintenance of lawn, which should further aid in reduction of erosion.
Fantastic. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Okay, with that said, I'd entertain a motion to close the hearing. Adam makes the motion, George makes the second. All those in favor? Fantastic. Jim Rand, just give me a thumbs up. You can't hear. All right, there we go. Thank you. Hearing's closed. Thank you, sir. We'll get back to you in a couple of weeks. It looks like a great idea. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Guys, thanks. Appreciate it. Have a good night. Everyone be safe.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Bye-bye, guys.
All right. Thank you. That is the end of the public hearing. Now we're going to go into the general meeting. We do have an application. That's why this woman's here. Lindsay Kilmurray.
Yeah, she just dropped off.
Yeah, she just dropped off. That's weird. Okay, that's fine. Which is she the restaurant?
Yeah, she's with Low Style. She made the presentation.
Cool. All right, general meeting. We have a couple of resolutions to go through and hopefully act on and sign off on. The first one is special permit application number 327, Restaurant Low Style at 42 Center Street, proposed to establish a new 442 square foot restaurant / wine cellar with a satellite kitchen and 10-person tasting counter. This is the existing restaurant, which they're going to turn an old pizza oven type area into a little kitchenette area that's going to be open a few days a week, not every day. They don't work Sundays. I know that. They don't work Mondays. It's a 2-page or a 3-page resolution. We talked about this on May 17th, which was my best friend's birthday. Any questions, comments, typos, scriveners, errors on this one? Jim ran, his audio went bad, so it seemed to kick back. Jim Rand's going to try to kick in when he can. We still have 4 people. Jim's here. He can still sign off at it. Questions, comments, typos, scriveners, errors on this one? It was a pretty straightforward application. Okay. You want to just text Jim or instant message him and tell him, okay? He just put something in the chat.
Oh, he did? I didn't see it in my chat. He must have just chatted with you.
Oh, it was private. Okay, we probably privately had a reply. Oh, okay. Okay. No. P-O-B-L-E-M. Steve and others, it's first the audio can't seem to get back in my computer application. You want to just text them and say, any questions on that thing?
I think, yeah.
You want to do a reply all or the other one?
Yeah, I think, okay, we'll email Jim.
Check my chat. I did. I got it. Yes.
You got your chat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, no problem.
We're good.
That's good. All right. George Riley and Adam, can you guys hear me? Okay, great. Any questions, comments on this one? Typos? Are we ready to vote?
All good.
Okay, fantastic. All right. Entertain a motion to approve the draft resolution as submitted. Adam makes a motion. George makes a second. Jim Rand, tell Jim Rand to raise his hand. Thanks. Or taken by pills?
Can we chat him?
Yeah,
if you're okay with Lostel,
okay.
Raise your hand.
He
just left.
He just left.
Okay, hold on. Without Jim Rand, we're not going anywhere.
It says, okay, thanks. Oh, we got to call him. Hold on, let me call him. What's his phone number? Where'd it go?
It's just us here, so.
Contacts, Jim. This is fun stuff, man.
Want me to call him?
I'm calling him.
All right.
And okay, he's
put him on speakerphone.
He's going to. It's going to answer. Jim Rand left. Hey, Jim. Hey, Jim. That didn't work. Let's try his wife. You can't make this stuff up, folks. Cancel. And my phone's just for the record, my phone's also going to run out of batteries. So I'll figure that one out. Recent phone calls. There he is. We're trying.
Hello.
Hey, Jim, it's Steve.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, buddy, I just need you to vote yes on this resolution because you make the quorum.
Okay.
We're doing the resolution of Lostel. Do you vote yes?
Yes.
Okay, good. That's 4-0.
4-0.
4-0. You're on speaker, buddy.
I'm glad to be of help. Sorry about this. I don't know why I lost the connection, but
that's all right.
I have to start my computer all over again.
Can I keep you
on?
on?
As you're done with me, I'm happy if you're happy.
Can I keep you on for one more second so we can go over the complete angler one?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
I'm afraid you won't be able to go over complete angler.
Oh, because you're recusing yourself.
So we'll kick that to next week. We'll kick complete angler to next week.
Okay.
And then I don't know if you want to do any deliberations tonight or just kick those to next week due to the technical difficulties.
Yeah, let's kick it to next week. Is that okay?
And then we just have the one set of minutes.
Because I'm recused on the last one too. So that makes 3 in the last
So
one.
we have Riley, Rand, and Balgash. Maybe we'll wait on that till next week as well. That way Jeff Ball might be here next week.
What, on the minutes?
On the minutes.
Yeah, okay.
Can we do that?
Yeah, so why don't we,
Are you going to adjourn the meeting?
I have no other business.
You good?
I'm good.
Okay. Commissioners and Jim, if you're still there.
I'm still here.
Thank you, sir. We have to pass on complete angler because we only have 3 people. We have a quorum on that one. And then Hoyt Street, we can do that next week. That's a deliberation. And then 16 Pemberton, we can't do that one because we don't have a quorum on that one either. And then with that said, we can punt the minutes to next week. So the next time, any other business requires 2/3 vote of the commission. We don't have any other business?
No.
Our next meeting is going to be. Okay, thank you, Jim. Our next meeting is going to be June 14th. That's it. And then with that said, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Want to make the motion, Jim?
Yes, please. I
Jim?
make the motion to adjourn.
All right. And then Adam's got the second. All those in favor? 4-0. All right. Meeting's adjourned. Thanks, Jim. You're all set. Thanks, Adam.
Thanks.